When the Pilgrim Fathers landed on the northeast coast of America, there were so many heath hens that it seemed impossible that the extraordinary-looking bird could ever die out. But now, the oak forests of New England, which were once their homes, no longer boom with the sound of the heath hen's mating call. They were brown birds, weighing up to 1 kilo, similar in size to their pheasant cousins. They were distinctively striped, and the male had a bright orange comb over each eye and sacks of orange skin on each side of its neck. The female was slightly smaller and without the colourful markings of the male. She nested on the ground and was very protective of her chicks. The heath hen fed on clover, leaves, and grain, but their principal diet consisted of the acorns and berries of their forest habitat. During courtship, the male would puff himself up and perform a spectacular dance to a synchronized accompaniment of booming calls as he inflated and deflated his air sacs. This blue grouse's mating ritual contains a similar pattern of head jerks, tail feather displays, and stomping steps, which can be heard as far as 20 kilometers away. Heath hens must have been an impressive sight when the Pilgrim Fathers first saw them in the early 1600s. These Puritans had fled persecution in Europe, but they brought with them as many guns as Bibles, and they started a new kind of persecution of their own. They eradicated the local tribes of Native American Indians and hunted the wildlife, showing no respect for breeding seasons. They shot birds on the nest with greater ease than those that were willing to flee, so killing 2 generations with 1 bullet. As early as 1791, a few enlightened politicians saw the danger and tried to introduce a closed season when hunting was forbidden, but the bill was laughed at. Instead, the hunting continued and the forests were destroyed as the timber was cut down and the land turned into farms. Domestic chickens were introduced, bringing new diseases and making it unnecessary to protect the heath hens as a food source. Cats also came and preyed mercilessly on the ground-nesting chicks. By 1870, the heath hen was extinct. Except, that is, on one small island, Martha's Vineyard, 60 square kilometers of wooded land where just 200 hens survived. Just when it seemed they would vanish forever, a public appeal granted them a protected reservation, and by 1916, the numbers had increased to 2,000. Then disaster struck. A fire swept across their breeding ground. Being summer, the nesting females would not leave their eggs, even as the flames swept over them. Only 105 survived, almost all males. Finally, turkeys were introduced to the island, and with them, disease. The last heath hen, a male, died on the evening of the 11th of March 1932. The local paper reported, "There is no survivor. There is no future. There is no life to be recreated in this form again."